Hi, thanks for joining me. My name's Brad and I'm with Backcountry Bonsai. Here today to talk with you about the PeninsulMItt. It's our new patent pending mitten. It'll be available in a wide variety of fitments, if you will. We'll have some that are insulated, we'll have some uninsulated, we'll have some that are super insulated. But we're going to start things off with primarily two versions. There'll be a medium weight insulated and kind of a polar weight insulated. But for these things to make sense, we need to talk a little bit about background and what brought me to develop them and why you should care, basically. What I found several years ago was that my hands would stay moderately warm in a standard mitten, but my thumbs would always get cold. And what I would end up doing is, I'd pull my thumb out of the mitten and I'd stick it in the palm of the hand to try and warm the thumb up a little bit, and then I'd pull the mitten back on and pull it back down until my hand got cold, my thumb got cold, and I'd pull the thumb back in and I'd get it in there and warm it back up. And that struck me as kind of stupid. You should be able to just put on a piece of handwear and wear it and have it work, have it insulate well. And as I thought about it some more, I realized a couple other things. One is that my hand is relaxed in here, but you can see this, the way this is kind of held out. And if I move my thumb, it takes an amount of force to really open this back up. And the range of motion is limited. And you'll find that with a lot of mittens and a lot of gloves. And a lot of us kind of take that for granted. I mean, they're winter gloves or they're winter mittens, and you don't expect to have the same range of motion as you would barehanded, right? But along with having a more limited range of motion, I also kind of realized that if your hand can't move as much, you're probably not going to get as ideal blood flow through your hand. So I thought about that, and then I thought about the fact that there's this huge gap between your thumb and the rest of your hand. So really what's happening is the four fingers all share a space, and they all help each other heat the fingertip region of the mitt, and they're helped with the palm of the hand. So the palm of the hand and the fingers really heat the body of the mitt. On the other hand, well, on the same hand, but your thumb is out here all on its own. It doesn't have, the palm of your hand doesn't have any other digits to help it. It's on its own little thing, separated through this cold, windy gap, trying to insulate this space. And it can't do that effectively, particularly in very cold conditions. And that's why your thumb gets cold. So what I kind of realized was that held true through all sorts of mitts. And I honestly have for a long time just worn a wool rag glove and a pair of leather chopper mitts as a good dog walking and yard working kind of combination. With this, you can see that there's not as much limitation in the range of motion in this one. The thumb comes out a little bit more, so you can move a little more naturally. But still, there's this vast space between the thumb and the body of the mitt. Now, just one last example of others, and this is a monstrous glove, but almost all of us know that mittens are warmer than gloves. And the reason for that is that gloves have this separation between the fingers. The very thing that makes a mitten warmer is the joinment of those fingers so that they have a shared space. So doesn't it seem weird that there hasn't been something that says, oh, well, if that's why mittens are warmer, why don't we include the thumb with the other four digits? And that's where the PeninsulMItt came about. The very first one I actually sewed onto a wind shirt for cross-country skiing, and then they kind of have developed over that. But a couple of things you'll notice about the PeninsulMItts, other than they look a little bit goofy. One is this kind of webbed connection between the, I feel like the guy in the Tim Allen show. Anyway, there's that sort of webbed span between the thumb and the body of the hand. So what that'll do is allow me to take my hand at full spread. So inside the mitt, my hand is just like that right now. And I can do this and pull them right together. But I can also pull my thumb in and keep it next to the body of the hand. Now, when I do that, I don't have to pull the mitten off and slide my thumb over or anything like that. It just kind of moves over. I have to sort of, if this makes sense, I have to sort of duck the thumb down a little before I bring it over, just a notch, and that'll probably depend a little bit on the fit per person. We have these in several sizes. But for a general outspread, my left hand is just like my right hand at the moment, so it's pretty easy to grasp. But what's unique is that all of the hand heats this web thumb region. So even if my thumb is hanging out with the rest of my hand, the whole hand is heating the whole mitten. So that thumb region is always deriving warmth from all of the hand, and it makes a really big difference. One other thing you'll notice on most of these mittens, that there will probably be a few that will bring out eventually, but there's a bit of a roundness to the outer edge, and the reason for that is in a standard mitten, your hand is kind of right hand here. It's like that. And what I wanted to do is allow your hand to develop a full spread. So not just your thumb being able to go way out, because it's still kind of awkward to try and pick things up like this. It just doesn't work well. So I wanted to be able to take a full hand, full spread, and allow a hand to work in a natural sort of motion. And that's why this is kicked out like that, because it allows you to stretch your hand full out. And you don't have to. You can certainly just keep your thumbs or your pinky fingers straight up with the rest of your palm, but if you want to really be able to pick something up, grab it, and go, they work great for that. This is just a old ski pole, but as an example, I mean it's pretty easy to just pick whatever up and go. So it's a very versatile design. With all of the mitts, we'll have in different degrees. You see a little bit of three-dimensional shape to them. They'll have a little bit of curve built into them, so that enhances your mobility and your grasp even more. And they work great. So the benefits: your thumb stays a lot warmer than they would in any traditional mitten or glove, of course. But beyond being significantly warmer, they also allow a much more natural range of motion and really great dexterity. People are amazed at the dexterity of these when they put them on, because you put them on and they look like a bulky oven mitt almost. But the design and the way we allow for that full outstretch of the hand and the shaping of the mitt allows for excellent dexterity. Now, in terms of warmth, we'll be offering these in two sets of warmth ratings, basically, both of which are warmer than the vast majority of the products that you'd buy out there on the market right now. The standard version, what we'll call the standard version, is going to be insulated with ClimaShield Apex. It's a continuous filament insulation, great durability, very lightweight, excellent compressibility. Just for reference, we're going to be using 4-ounce ClimaShield in the back of the mitts, 3.5 ounce in the palm. These are all going to be lined with fleece. The palms of the mitts, although they have a little bit less of the ClimaShield, will have a dual layer of fleece. And the reason for that is that when you do pick something up, I don't want your hand to get cold. So a dual layer of fleece gives you some extra protection against the insulation compressing when you pick objects up. The warmer mitten that we'll offer, we'll use a 7.5 ounce ClimaShield on the back and a 5 ounce in the palm, again with a dual fleece, and there'll be a higher density fleece, a warmer fleece in the palms and the back of those warmer mitts. I mentioned the 7.5 versus the 4 ounce just as a kind of reference point. If you're not into those things, don't worry about it. You know, the one has a lot more insulation than the other. For those of you who are really into the tech side of things, you can gain some familiarity with that. But to give you an idea, the 7.5 ounce ClimaShield has a loft of about that much unrestricted, and the 4 ounces about that much. It's so much more insulation than you would tend to get in the vast majority of handwear available on the market. So I'm proud to be able to offer these. They're going to be very warm. It doesn't really matter if you're walking the dog, snow blowing, ice climbing, skiing, snowboarding. It doesn't matter if your hands are just always cold and you need something warm. They make sense for a lot of conditions and a lot of people. So hope you enjoy them. Check them out on the website. I'm calling them the PeninsulMItts because, hey, you got one on each hand, and you know what that does. Yeah, it ends up making a UP and an LP. So got to support the home state. The PeninsulMItts are going to be available in 3 sizes. They'll be available in a small, medium, and large. Those are unisex sizes. The mediums will probably fit most people the best, but obviously some people are going to need the small, some are going to need the large. So hey, we got them. That's cool. Any questions? Feel free to check it out on the website. Give us a shout. Check us out on Facebook, and hope you enjoy. Thanks.